Alright guys, I wanted to do a quick demo video today about how to make a snakeshot round from a standard 38 caliber case. This is just a 38 caliber case with a small pistol primer in it. The reason I wanted to do that, you can buy the blue speer plastic inserts where you can actually load your shot into them, and it's kind of a shot capsule in itself, but those are pretty expensive. I really didn't want to add any more money to a project. I'm kind of a do-it-yourself kind of guy, so I figured there's a better way to do it. The way I kind of got my information is very similar to reloading shot shells for 12 gauge shells that are being used in cowboy action, where the entire shot shell is solid brass all the way up and you've got a 12 gauge shell. So as long as you've got powder and wads and things, you can kind of devise a similar product that'll fit in a pistol. And so, as I said, this is a 38 special case, nothing fancy, nothing that I've done to it. All it has is a small pistol primer in it ready to go. To start, what I like to do is to take a little bit of a deburring tool, and I sharpen the edges of this case just a little bit. That might be a little bit different than you're used to doing for a pistol, but I do it for a reason. I'll come to that in a little bit. So you kind of shave that and just kind of sharpen that just a little bit, and that'll help to cut the wad a little bit later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my press and steel about 4.5 grains of tight group. Look into there. You'll have to trust me, it's there. I can kind of confirm that. And then what I like to do is use a little bit of a Tyvek shot card. So actually what I did, kind of neat little way of doing it, I have another 38 super case, sharpened the edges of this and went to a piece of Tyvek and just cut a whole bunch of these little circles out of it. Nice little thin piece of Tyvek, makes a really nice shot and powder wad. So you kind of drop that in there, and you can use a little bit of something flat base to kind of punch it in there, get it seated real nice. Put just a little bit of pressure against that powder so it's sitting nice and firm. Now I've got a wad down in the bottom of that, no powder on top of it. Looks real good. There are different types of shots you can put in. I happen to have some number 8 shot that I use, and at this point I've got it in the shot shell here, and you can just kind of pour that in. I've gone ahead and done the calculations on this. I went ahead and measured it out, and if you fill the case right to about where I'm telling you, that's just under 100 grains of shot. This is number 8. You can buy number 10, number 12 shot, I believe, if you want a little bit smaller BBs. And again, if you'll just kind of fill that cartridge up right about to the top, not all the way, you want a little room for your wad. You probably add just a little bit. And that's right at 95 to 100 grains of shot. And then the interesting part of this, the way I like to make my overshot card, is I actually use a little bit of a glue stick. So if you take just a big glue stick and a little bit of a utility knife, you just cut a small piece off of that, and you can set that on top. Now what I've got is my Forster press. It's over here on the side. Since I'm having a hard time doing this and holding the camera, I'll just have to explain it. But I set that on top like this, put it on my Forster press. And I've got a 9mm sizing die set in here, where I take the end of my scalpel blade and set it on top and just actually push down on that, and it cuts through that glue wad. And so looking at that, nice and compressed, it doesn't even hardly rattle at all. I've got that glue stick kind of stuck into there on that case, and that's why you sharpen those edges here, so that you can make a nice clean cut. I make 2 little relief cuts on the side of that with surgical precision. Keep taking care not to go to the hospital for some sutures. And you can kind of pull this off, and you can pull that off, and you've got a nice little wad on top of your case. Now it doesn't matter if it sticks out right now. I'll show you what we do for that. We'll come back in just a little bit and I'll show you how we handle that. And there you have it. So now what you wind up doing, in order to flatten this out a little bit, I don't like any flames around powder, obviously, for obvious reasons. So what I do is I take a little bit of a lighter and I do that off to the side where I don't have any powder. And I'm just going to heat up my little craft blade here, or a scalpel, just a little bit, not too hot, just to where it's kind of nice and hot to make a nice smooth cut. Cut right off of there, and it should slide just like butter, and it does. And so now I've got a nice clean overshot card. It's glue, so it won't melt if you leave them sitting in your pickup in the summer. Kind of push that down a little bit. And almost ready to go. The last and final stage is I add a little bit of a crimp on top of that, and I do that with my 9mm crimping die or my 38, either one. You can use either one for that caliber. Put just a little bit of a crimp on it, and so it'll feed really nicely. And voila, I've got my first little snake shot that took all a total. I can do 10 in maybe 10 minutes and save yourself about $1 a round is what they were going for in the store. So fire's real nice, pattern's real nice. I don't think I would try this out of a little snubby or anything semi-automatic, obviously, but for a nice little single action pistol for snake shot, works really, really nice. Thank you. If you got any questions, let me know.